Hi Stampers, it's Kristy from KristyCoromandel.com, and I have with me here a piece of Sahara sand cardstock that measures 14 by 9.5 centimeters. So I have my hardwood background stamp here, and I'm going to ink this up using the Sahara sand ink. And I like to just put mine clean out, and I don't even bother putting it on a block. I just turn it upside down and then just ink it up. Give it a nice good coverage, and then I'm just going to simply place this directly on top, give that a bit of a rub just to make sure that that ink transfers across to my cardstock there, and then I can gently lift that up in one of the corners and you can see what that looks like. So I've got with me here the Lots of Labels framelits, and I'm going to use the third largest die. I'm going to center this right onto that stamped piece that I've just done, and holding it in place with some washi tape. I'm going to run that through my Big Shot machine and then I'll be back. So I've got it right here that's come back, so I just take that off and put that aside. And I'm going to put this aside for a moment, and I'm just going to use this piece right here. So I've turned my cutout piece over. So I've got the, I've made a mistake here. So I've turned it over. This is our piece that we'd already previously stamped on. So I've turned it over, so with the non-stamped part that's been cut out. And then I'm using my Stamper Magic and my Versamark. I'm actually going to run my embossing buddy over the top of this. And my stamp set here, greeting, comes from the One Big Meaning stamp set. I'm going to ink this up using my Versamark ink. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some clear embossing powder. And just using a paintbrush to get rid of any excess that I don't want. Then I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool until it melts. To finish that off, I've got my Sahara Sand ink pad and my stamping sponge. And I'm just going to sponge in the middle of that. Like so. Once that's finished, just get a tissue and rub over that embossing so that that removes the excess ink, and it will make your greeting pop a bit more. Now, so next I have a scrap piece of Whisper White here, and I've got my Garden in Bloom stamp set. So I need a couple of images from here, so I'm just getting them all out. So this is a 3-step stamp set, so we'll start with that one. So I have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got my solid large flower image from the Garden in Bloom stamp set, and I'm going to ink this up in my real red classic ink and then stamp that down like so. Next I'm going to use the insert. Let's try that. And the best thing, because this is like a triple stamp flower, and the best thing about it, got these little knobs that are on there so that you can then line it up perfectly to get the next part in. And my center is going to be done in Cherry Cobbler. So I'm just stamp that down like so. And then my outline image being Cherry Cobbler also. see what that looks like. So next I've got the small flower image, this one here. I've got these ones here that I'm going to stamp. So I've got the first one here I'm going to do in Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to stamp this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. My next one's going to be in Crushed Curry, and I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on. Off, like so. And then the last one, which is my outline, I'm just going to do in Solid Crushed Curry. Like so. Next I've got my large leaf image, which is these ones right here, these 3 here. So I'm going to stamp up my solid image first in Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to stamp the shading with Wild Wasabi. I'm going to then ink it up, stamp off, then on, and the outline is going to be a full strength Wild Wasabi. Like so. And then lastly, I've got my Wild Wasabi again, and this time I'm going to be using these 2 flower images. And I'm going to ink it up in Wild Wasabi, stamp off, and we're going to attach it to one of the flowers here. And then I've got the outline image, and this time I'm going to use full strength Wild Wasabi. Like so. So using a pair of paper snips, we need to cut out all of these images as close to the line as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these out. So all those pieces are now cut out, so I'm just going to set them aside slightly, and I'll bring in back this piece that we had earlier, that we created earlier, and I'm using my scissors, and I'm just going to open them up right up as far as they can go, and using my blade I'm going to tear up at a little rough edge along the sides there. So I'm going to do that all around all 4 sides. So that's what that looks like. Okay, so I've got my piece of Whisper White cardstock here that measures, let's just check, 14 and a half by 10 centimeters. And then I've got my one piece that we'd already previously stamped and cut out. I've got some dimensional adhesive on the back, and I'm just going to center and stick this down. Like so. Then this piece here, I am going to remove all the fluff. Stick this right inside there, so it's actually stuck down in the center, and then the outside piece is all popped up with dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to put my flower here in the corner, and I'm just going to lay a stamp in dimensional of where that's going to be and peel that off there. And I've got some gold thread here. that I'm going to create some messy string with. Now there's no right or wrong way in creating your messy string. It's just messy. And then I'm just going to cut that off right there. Then I can stick my flower on top. And then I'm going to stick these little ones around it using some liquid adhesive. Like so, and then my leaves here can go right tucking under there. And then I'm going to adhere this to my card base, which is of Sahara Sand cardstock. And to finish it off, I'm just going to use a medium one of my gold facet gems and stick that in the center of my flower. And there's my card. It's probably one of my favorite cards I've made this month. Thank you for watching.